All right, excellent afternoon to all those watching us across the globe. Whenever you see us grace your screens, you should know that we mean business, and will always be in business for as long as national, public, or societal issue that we can rant about on Real Talk. Of course, our business is Real Talk. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. Of course, I remain the convener of this platform, Kike Atanda, and I have the Real Talkers on the platform. Our husband, obviously, you guys know when to wear the shirts, and I tend to always be the one left out. How you doing today?
Okay. Well, you're toned down a bit. You're not the usual, glamorous, shouty, outfit, mangoed Kike. So probably today you're damned. Anyway, welcome guys. It's the RTWK show, and we're repping it like as best as we can. My name is Marshall Anthony Ononye. I'll let Dami do justice to her introduction.
Good afternoon from everywhere you're getting to see us today. I hope it's a very beautiful day with us. And I'd always say we need to keep the hope alive. At least whatever we might be facing, when there is life, there is hope. My name is Damlola Bandere. It will be another smooth ride today. Please join us, and of course, feel free to join in our conversations. God bless you, Ramadan Kareem.
If you leave Damilola alone, she's ready to talk for another 10 minutes. In fact, quite a number of people have told me, what's the essence of Damilola's introduction after when you open the podcast? All right, I will see to that, guys. Let's quickly listen to our This Day in History segment. I know that exactly 24 years ago, Nigeria's former Deputy Head of State, General Oladipo Odia, was sentenced to death for allegedly being involved in a coup. You know what, guys? Let's hear one of the historical events on This Day in History segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day, April 28th. On this day, in 1998, Nigeria's former Deputy Head of State, General Oladipo Odia, and 5 others were sentenced to death by firing squad for plotting to overthrow military leader General Sani Abacha. On December 21st, 1997, the Chief of General Staff, who was the number 2 man in the country, Lieutenant General Donaldson Oladipo Odia from Odubolu in Ogun State, along with some officers, were arrested at different locations in the country. They included Major General Tajuddin Olarinwaju, former General Officer commanding 3 Armored Division of the Nigerian Army, and Major General Abdul Karim Adisa, who was then Minister for Works and Housing, but later served as Military Governor of Oyo State.
We are running out of time, Marshall, let me come to you quickly. It might be just your own submission we'll take on This Day in History segment. What's your take on
there isn't really much to say. It's just a reminder of what happened several years ago, and how he was sentenced to death, and several others. There were others, alongside him, who were accused of plotting a coup at that time. It created a lot of frenzy then, at the time when the coup plotters, or the coup was announced, because not too many people, especially in the media, had thought that the coup was, legit, so to speak, for lack of a better word. And thank God eventually it went the way it went, and they were exonerated to an extent.
All right, many thanks for that. We are already quite like 10 minutes behind schedule. So quickly, let's just go into the main discussion. We're in the sacred month of Ramadan, and it's gradually winding up, and it is necessary for us to take stock of our spiritual and moral growth gained in this month towards our societal development. And of course, the 30 days fasting will be let's say society. What was the word now? Please, someone should borrow me the word.
Suicidal?
No, succeeded by the Salah celebration on Monday. But before then, it's directional for us to take an appraisal of the essence of the fast, and of course, desired impact in the spiritual and moral life of those who have engaged in it. Of course, the Muslims. And on the show today, we have an Islamic scholar who is going to be talking about the objectivity engaging during the Ramadan fast, and of course, I guess we'll be discussing with us the link and the spiritual moral uprightness between the national development, or should I say all the challenges that we are facing presently. All right, again, I say welcome to the show, Imam Olabode. it's good to have you in the studio today. And I say Ramadan Kareem and Salam Alaikum again. Yeah, thanks for representing the Muslim community. So just going straight to the point, because I know again, let me emphasize on the fact that you kept the time even before I think before 2 hours or 3 hours before the show. You've been here, and I say kudos to that, and many thanks for honoring our invitation again. So just going straight to the point, because I know that the fast is gradually winding up, like I said during my intro, and in the matter of 2 or 3 days we will be celebrating Salah. Oh gosh, I miss my grandmother right now, Alaja. May I so continue to rest with you. So, but I want you to emphasize, what are the lessons that the holy month of Ramadan has taught us generally, especially during this period that I know that after fast, people just return back to their ills. What's your take on that?
Thank you so much. I think I'm highly honored to be here, and I think some of the lessons that we've learned in Ramadan is quite enormous. And the first of all is the taqwa, which is consciousness of Allah, and that is the essence of Ramadan. And we also learn to be patient, and since as Muslims we are fasting for about, I think 12 hours or thereafter, or 14 hours. So we decide not to eat, not to drink, and to abstain from everything that can vitiate the fast. So that's another lesson, which I think patience is quite needed in all our endeavors. Then another lesson is Islahu bayna nas, reconciliation between man and God, and reconciliation between man and his fellow human being. It's one of the lessons that we learned in Ramadan as well. Likewise, we talk about good health, sound health, and we have imbibed the culture of time and resources management during Ramadan. These are lessons that we've learned in Ramadan. So, and I think at the end of Ramadan, every Muslim and everyone that has engaged in the fast, we are supposed to make use of some of these lessons in all our life.
Okay, that's great. I want to know, what are the things that an upright Muslim should have? What are the qualities that an upright Muslim should have during Ramadan? Looking at the instance that sometimes even the things that you see with your eyes, and I was somewhere one day, let me cite the example, and the person wanted to describe a lady and described her with her physical features. So some other person said, better go and drink water, you don't have fast. Is it morally right, or was it okay for the person to have just done that?
In the act of fasting, one is expected to lower his gaze or her gaze, even when you are privileged to meet yourself in such instance. Then in trying to describe a lady, you're describing her the way she is not right as a Muslim. But that does not, the person will just go and repent, and that does not mean the lady will have, the guy in question will have to break his fast. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
For me, it will be looking at, what we should expect naturally to come with the end of the fast. Because right now, I wouldn't be looking at what qualities you should possess during the fast or before the fast, but at the end of it, what are the profits we should expect globally as a nation, Nigeria, that has participated in the fast, and individually as families, what are the Ramadan Kareem, so to speak?
Yeah. Now, like I mentioned earlier, when we say taqwa, that is God consciousness. It means that you should do things with little or no supervision. And when you want to translate that into your normal life, it means that as a government, you must be able to discharge your duties, even when, look, for example, the fast that we went through for that number of days, we are fasting, and without any law enforcement agency to come and meet you, maybe at any point in time, while you are fasting or while you are not fasting. But you have done that willingly, and also to seek the pleasure of Allah. And if that is what you have done during the fasting, it means if you translate it to your life, it means if you are working as an employer, you will discharge your duties as expected of you. If you are being employed, you also discharge your duties as expected of you.
So what are the blessings that come with it?
Yeah, as a Muslim, during the month of Ramadan, if you fast, the greatest lesson is that your Lord will forgive you your sins. Okay. Your past sins will be forgiven by Allah, and that is what we are saying these days, the last 10 days of Ramadan, we are expected to be saying the prayer, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Meaning, oh Allah, you are the one who pardon. So pardon me for all my misdeeds. So if that is enough, if you have been pardoned, it means even after Ramadan you live a life of, it shows that you must have been cleansed from your sins.
This last 10 days that you mentioned, looking at the situation where some of our Muslim faithful pass on, I know it's called itikaf.
Yeah.
Some of our Muslim faithful pass on, it's well perceived that, oh, they get Al-Jannah's Firdaus, if I'm very correct with that, oh, God gives them the entry free into Al-Jannah. Is that really true?
No, that wouldn't be true. You know, when we talk about Al-Jannah, that is paradise, you have to work for it. Secluding yourself in the mosque, you understand, would not necessarily bring that Al-Jannah as it is. But you have to do the work. Secluding yourself in the mosque. Mosque seclusion means you want to, there is a night called Laylatul Qadr. And that is the night of majesty. That we believe that is the night of decree. That whatever prayer, whatever supplication you make during that night will be accepted. So what some people feel they should leave their home to go to the mosque in seclusion, such that they will not be distracted, they will not be disturbed with everything that has to do with life, and they want to concentrate with their God. That is the purpose. But if at the end of the 10 days, you go out of the mosque and you still continue to engage in your social vices, then your Al-Jannah will not be guaranteed.
During the 10 days, if you lose your life, are you granted paradise automatically?
Because if one of the benefits is forgiveness of sins, that person should have been forgiven, like you said.
Yeah.
So, and the person passes.
Yeah.
We really need to get clarity on that.
Yeah, it is. But you know, the way human reasons is different from the way God reasons.
Okay,
so, and as such, what I would say is, if truly you have repented from your sins, in Islam, repentance, you understand, means that you have regretted that action, and again, you are having in mind, you are determined not to go to it again. So if your repentance is done for that moment, and inside of you, which I think your God knows better, you still have the mind to go back to the sins, means that you cannot cut corners with God, and you will be judged according to your intention.
Excellent, I like that. You know, and with all you've shared thus far, I want to follow up with Masha's last question, which is like, you know, many people would like to say that we should leave religious matters away from public affairs, and I know that there's a lot of link between spirituality and moral uprightness, and I feel that one of the questions I was asking earlier is more or less like tilted towards how do we run our social lives during and after Ramadan, because I just feel that there are a lot of emphasis that needs to be laid on that, because that might actually help some of the ills that we are going through today in the society.
Now, like you said, it is almost impossible for us as people to divorce our public life from religion. And that is what we've been doing in the past, and we've seen that we cannot go too far. I am of opinion that religion should be taught at all levels, because what we are saying is we need God consciousness. We have seen what the society looks like now. There is insecurity. There is absolutely no fear of God in doing things. So, and where exactly did we lose the track, and how do we go back to our God? So it shows that we have to go back. In other countries, for example, they have a system in place. If you do anything wrong, then with the law and everything. But here, if we don't encourage ourselves to be religious, such that we have the fear of God, there is no system in place. You do an evil and you get away with it. There are quite a number of issues that are in the courts that are yet to be decided. There are a number of cases of corruptions that are yet to be decided. And that is exactly just telling people that are coming behind that they can do what they like.
I like what you've just said, that they can do what they like. And I see that you've linked the religion and the politics together, which is really really important. And
Very
I like
pertinent.
the fact that you've also emphasized that religion has to be taught on all levels. So, because I feel that many of our political leaders today, you know, they swear an oath into the public offices, and many of them claim to be religious, so to speak, in quotes. And we've seen how they've acted thus far, even till the present administration. I'm not calling names, you know, but concerning the masses and our plight at the moment, knowing that the economy is in a very...
It's in shambles.
You know, so how can we address this issue, Imam?
Now, as it is, like I said, we go back to our drawing table. We have to be decisive. And we don't have to deceive ourselves. Every one of us in government, we either claim we are in one religion or the other. So that means we should ask ourselves, how sincere are we? For example, in this Ramadan that we have, now we are expected to give charity. Quite a number of programs are sponsored. You go to various mosques where you see people giving food to people, to the less privileged, so to say. Some people pay zakat during this month of Ramadan. Now, look at that as an example. It shows that Ramadan has come to unite us. The rich, those that are rich, they are linking with the poor. So, which means that if they are in government, they should know that the poor are lacking some things which they have to put in place. So I think we should understand the essence of a society, that a society cannot be balanced without having both the rich and the poor. And the rich, they have responsibilities towards the poor, and this has to do with a normal human being. Even animals protect themselves. So when you take up the money that belongs to the public for your personal use, you take it, the money that is meant to be used to build hospitals, that money that is supposed to be used to impact the life of the youth, society. You understand? Social amenities. You know that if you are not doing that, it shows that we are not understanding the essence of society. So there is no way this can be taught. You know, some of those people that goes to their various places of organization, the leaders of those organizations, are they emphasizing that? Or are they just interested in the money they want to collect from them? If you tell them the truth and you make sure that you do the follow-up with them, and even as a religious leader, you decide not to associate yourself with someone that is not doing what is enough, appropriate, then it shows that the religious, we are also making an impact in that regard.
Many thanks for that. We'll go on a quick break and get a word from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is about Ramadan or ending, however you want to put it, and we've been discussing the role of moral rectification towards national development, and of course the link between our moral figures and our outcome of public affairs. And our learned Islamic scholar has been providing answers to this. And again, I say many thanks, Imam Olabode, for all you've shared thus far. Of course, there are a lot of things that happens behind the cameras as well. You know, I wish I can share some of them with you guys with some sound that goes on, but because I have an imam on the platform, I have to control my thoughts. All right, guys, don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 0098877 400 is showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook page, both on Silverbird platform and of course on Real Talk with Kike. And sir, again, I say many thanks for all you've shared thus far. But you know, as the election, you know, are around the corner, I know that the religious leaders will be approached in respective localities to tell the people, the congregation, how to vote and their intention and all of that. But I wanted to emphasize more on what role does Islamic clerics and religious leaders have to play in guiding the followers towards electing the set of people that will be in the corridor of power come 2023, because I feel it's just 7 months or so that is remaining out of the people that are there at the moment. But what role do you think the Islamic leaders should be playing right now? I think it's really, really important for you to emphasize on that.
Thank you so much. I think if I have to say something, the first thing is to encourage the followers to get their the permanent voters card. And secondly, I think we need to pray. At this moment in Nigeria, I think we need a lot of prayers.
Prayers.
Yeah.
Ask the full life. You know. We keep it real on this platform. You know, when you say pray, you know, so I said,
who has prayer helped?
Ask for forgiveness of what I'm about to say. You know, saying that really, when we all hide under the guise of prayers, who has prayer really helped instead of us going into action? So I don't want us to hide under the disguise of prayer. No. Please emphasize further.
Yeah, prayer. When I say prayer, the fact that we are alive today shows that our prayers are answered.
Well, true.
The fact that Nigeria still remain an entity means that our prayers are answered. So we shouldn't lose, you know, hope in prayer. Once we lose hope in prayer, shows that we want to say we can control our life by ourselves, and absolutely we can't.
Lovely answer.
So we still need to pray. You understand? In fact, maybe it would have been worse if we have not been praying. When I say prayer, means for God to actually direct us, because as we are now, it shows this country is having no direction. We are not going in direction. So when I say we get up, we get the PVC, then we pray, in-house prayer. Not praying for someone. I mean as a nation, that we have really, you know, we have trespassed a lot. Do you know how many bloods we are shedding every day in this country? Do you know how many innocent people that are being killed? You understand? So every one of us, I think their blood is on us. So that's part of what is responsible for our predicament at this moment.
Yeah, but you haven't answered my question.
I'm still going on.
All right then.
Now, after that, I will encourage the leaders to do their due diligence. Before you can ask people to vote for anyone, you understand? Make your research. You understand very well. Don't be partisan. Don't vote for money. Don't
be hungry.
Don't be hungry, because it's like voting for another hunger that will last for 4 or 8 years.
Another hunger.
Yes.
So before another, there was one hunger.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. That what we are going through now is very, very tough. So we just hope that Allah will assist us. So what I'm saying is that, as it is, you know, everyone encourage your followers not to vote for, you know,
bag of rice,
loaf of bread.
You have to. So once they do, you know, it will be wrong for anyone to say vote for. You understand? But at least once you do your due diligence,
I'll just let it go, because Dabi wants to ask a question. So let her, please go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to bring you back to the family front.
Okay.
To say, I think before we even get into governance, it's family unit first.
Sure.
What do you think about this so much domestic violence ravaging in the society? Because I know the way it happens to Christians, it also happens to Muslims. As an Islamic scholar and a cleric, how do you attend to men who domestically abuse their wives, knowing that there are even some of them are devotees in the mosque? And you know, there's this thing that you don't scatter union. But how do you even encourage a woman to move on, or speak to the man to desist?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And Islamically, we believe that, you know, the smallest unit of the society is the family. Once we get it right at the family level, we are likely to get it right at the national level. Now, foundation is a key. You know, there are some marriage that are built on a very wrong foundation. And that is what we're experiencing now. You understand? So if they've been able to do what they are expected to do, maybe before the marriage, you understand, the counseling, you know, the prayer, and you are being sincere, you are not marrying a lady, or the lady is not marrying the man because of what? Because of, you know, material things. You are likely to have avoided this problem. But be that as it may now the solution to the present one we're having is part of what we've learned in Ramadan. I said we are fasting for about 14 hours. Shows that for you to be able to fast, you are going to endure some pain, some things. You are going to endure hunger. You are going to see something that you so much desire.
That will entice you.
You understand? And you are fasting.
Abstain.
You understand? You abstain from it. Shows that if you are able to do that, you understand? Discipline yourself for that. That is not the worst thing is you walk away. We are human beings. You understand? And you know, we will always. That is not.
There will always be errands from either parties.
Even the tongue and the teeth. You understand? It will always.
Yeah.
But we have to manage ourselves. There is no ideal marriage, as they say, anyway.
But when it becomes incessant and the man is not repentant, do you advise the woman to leave?
Of course. The essence of the marriage, you understand, is to live in peace.
Harmony.
Once that is being threatened, then if you know you are not,
compatible, you can't do it again.
That's better. Because the God who created you even value your soul and your life.
I'd like to ask you about what you think about your colleague being sacked from the Apollo Legislative Mosque, Nuru Khalid, who was sacked and said to have criticized Buhari. What do you make of that?
Well, I think, the fact that I wasn't there, we can't actually...
We heard his preaching, his preaching is everywhere online, and what he said,
I think what he said was not too bad. You understand?
It was constructive.
It was constructive, but at least sometimes the manner, you make your presentation matters. You understand? I think maybe there is, before that scene, something must have happened before the scene. So, we can say just a little, because if we were to be part of the, scenario, then we would have been able to, say.
No, but as a cleric, as a man of God, do you think, what's your judgment of what he presented?
Yeah, I say, like in Islam, in Surah Al-Azhab, Allah said, he said, those who preach the gospel of God, and they don't fear anyone, it is only God that they are accounted to. So, as a scholar, you must not be afraid to speak the truth. You understand? At any time, you are being opportunity to say, say the truth, even if it is bitter. So, and the mess we have put ourselves in this country today is because some people, they have been deliberately hiding the truth.
All right, many thanks for your submission. At least I think you answered that in a very diplomatic way, and all of that, which is fair because the message has been passed. But now tilting towards parenting, I know that you're a proprietor of one of the, I think Amcor school in Kosi, to be precise, and you have one of your colleagues here is also a proprietor as well, and you are also a stakeholder in the education and development of children in the state. That handshake has to be extended there because we are all I'm just kidding, because I can see the way you quickly came and
that's why Moses wants to come to the studio.
We are molding life.
We are
molding life.
You are molding life, yes. So how should parents, wake up to their duties of parenting, in this digital technology age? We've seen what has befell us in the last 1 week and all of that. Even before then, we've had the Dowen College, we've had all sorts of schools. I don't want to mention schools, but I can see how the parent of the last incident that called the attention of the nation, have said that they've collected the phones and the girl have actually deleted her account, and I think she has over 12,400 fans or something like that. Just imagine that. But as a proprietor, what advice would you give to 24,000? My technical director just shared with me now, so. As a proprietor, what advice will you give to parents, who are training children in this digital age?
I think that's a very good question. I think my advice is that parents should rise up to the challenge. Quite a number of parents, they are so negligent. Some of them, the way they are training their children these days, they feel when they expose them to all sorts of things, they're actually training. Some of them have shifted their responsibility to the school. And even if a child should spend 12 hours in the school, you as a parent, you are a role model. Whatever we say in school that your child should do, you have to be at home to monitor and make sure the child is doing. So you cannot shift your burden to the school. Ours is to teach, to the best of our capability. But a lot has to be done from the parent's hand. Look at some of us, the way we were trained. We are not actually training the children. And the fact that we have technology in our midst does not mean it has come to spoil our life. A child needs to reach a certain age before you can be able to give a phone that can do as much as that. if parents are saying that they want to get in touch with the students or the child, that's why they are giving phone. You can give a phone that can do that, you understand, without exposing the child to another world that is so big that the child cannot even control. So as we speak, and even if you must give a child, when it gets to that age, you have to find a way of monitoring the activities of the child. Before you know that, a child can do a lot on the phone. And
Masha, let me come to you with the submission, knowing that you're also a proprietor of the school. When he said that he doesn't agree that tablets or phones are some of the things that is affecting the children of today, do you agree with that as a proprietor?
I can't help but disagree with him on that, because before now we embraced the technological advancement of having to teach with these devices and also having these devices at the disposal of the children. Even homeworks, assignments sometimes are given. So beyond the school perimeter fence, the kids even still have to go home and still visit the device, whether supervised or unsupervised. But we have also seen how some parents, there are apps and there are restrictive apps that you can install on the device of your child.
Exactly.
And there are some inputs you would make to indicate the age of the child who's using that device. That automatically would lock off the child from accessing some other, unsolicited messages or unsolicited applications. Now, but we've seen how these kids, Kike, the sense you have now is not the sense of the generation now.
Gen Z.
We've gone from the millennial age to the jet age to the computer. No, we went from the computer age to the millennial age, jet age.
Now
we're in the artificial intelligence age. These children are so intelligent that they can even,
they are very internet savvy.
They can break whatever restrictions. They know how to maneuver. So all the codings, exactly. So I think that this internet, I can't help but agree that it is one of the elements or factors that is helping to proliferate the corruption of the minds of the children.
Sure.
So there has to be strict guidance, strict, how do you call it now, supervision when children are dealing with these devices.
Sure.
Many thanks for your contribution towards what Imam Olabode have shared. Dami, quickly, this might be our last question.
I think that, well, because you are on the other side of the religion, which is on the Islam side, we had a Reverend Father sometimes back, and I asked a question about population, and, well, probably he didn't really understand my Bible. I think that one of the major backlashes that we suffer is because some parents even have children that, if we take financial aside, as much as financial is very important, emotionally and otherwise, morally, they are not available.
They're bankrupt.
Do you understand? They are not there. Do you think that people should also engage in personal, like when they come for counseling, do you counsel couples to streamline their family according to what they can cater for morally, physically, financially, and all the wise? Like, in this age, should a woman just engage in having 6, 7 children when you know that you are really not available for them?
No. Thank you. I think it's not right. You have to give birth to a child you can actually take care of. Like an adage says, in giving birth, that giving birth is not up to taking care of the child. So it's just that as Muslim, Islam is not against that, but the manner and the ways, there are ways that Islam put in place for you to do your family planning. And that's what you have to have the knowledge of. But you are not supposed to give birth to a child that you cannot take care of. The child will just end up being, a nuisance to the society.
So Islam believes in family planning.
Apologies, Masha, when you say that, because the religion Islam that we are talking about actually permits men to marry more than 4 wives. So when you say that, I don't think that we're actually talking about population here, because the men in question have 4 wives in their compounds and they can impregnate any of them. 1 wife can have 5, 6, 7, 8 wives. How does that correlate with what you've just said now? I just need some clarity a little bit.
Okay, thank you. The fact that we have the reason for marrying more than a wife is not for you to have as many children as possible. There are 2 different things. Okay. People marry more than a wife for many reasons. Okay. Number 1, it might be because, the woman in question, you understand, Islam wants to save her dignity in order not to become, a nuisance, a prostitute in the society. So the time engages that you adopt. Okay. Now, another reason is that probably a man may need more than, in terms of capability.
In terms of high libido.
High libido, yes. Those are the reasons. So it may not necessarily be
for procreation.
In fact, sometimes you might marry maybe, let's say, a widow who has given back to her child. But Islam can, as a Muslim, you can marry her, even when she will not give back to you. So there are two different things entirely. Marrying more than a wife, 2, 3, 4, you understand, in Islam, if you are capable. The same thing goes to the fact that
capability and equity.
Equity, yeah. And also it goes to the number of children. If you are capable, you understand? Yeah, Islam encourages that you have many children if you can take care of them.
All right, interesting. Many thanks for what you've shared thus far. So I think this extends to the Christians who have taken it upon themselves to always take that it has become a trend now for them to take second wives. It might be that they are just saving the woman over this issue. It's going to be another discussion on this platform next week. Trust me. All right. On that note, we say many thanks for all you've shared thus far, and may God continue to strengthen you. May Allah continue to strengthen you. On this note, we are not letting you go yet. There's the last segment of the show that we call Trending Stories. Masha likes to call it stories that interest us, and I call it story that binds us as Nigerians. And the first trending story that caught our attention is that of the Benue security outfit that assaults women on a woman that was wearing a gold women. Okay, all right. In case I don't know if you stumbled on this video.
I mean, I suppose they met this girl on the way while she was on a bike, and they asked her to come off the bike, and they engaged in this, and the girl quietly stayed. And mind you, Kike, while they were doing that, they were firing gunshots in the air.
Yes.
And they went to several other locations and met some other people too, and carried out the same barbaric acts. Who are these people? Someone asked. The person who was doing the video said, who are these people? Where did they come from? These are people that are forest guards. They are employed and constituted or instituted as forest guards to guard the farms, against militias, against bandits, against militants, against terrorists. They have nothing to do with roaming the streets or monitoring the streets and looking for girls or boys that tainted their hairs or with long braids and begin to cut them. I don't see how that is their job. I think we should, Kike, I even think Kike should have a show just on this thing and really call these guys out and call the authorities that's supposed to handle them. It's wrong and illegal.
Many thanks for that. And I think I concur with you that it is absolutely wrong, and I feel that it's just power drunk, and it's barbaric, to use the word again. I feel that how can you go around minding your business of the day, and somebody will just call you out to come and just start cutting your hair and the likes and all of that.
Like this your bone straight now.
No, this is not actually bone straight. Okay. Maybe I need to school you on that. But this is another ishba, in the making. And I feel that the reason this is happening is the failure of our law enforcement system. And the reason why I'm using the word law enforcement is the fact that I'm sure that the law would have provided some boundaries of their jurisdiction of what their duties and their obligations should be. But like you were talking earlier, you spoke about insecurity, but the question is they have left the job of that insecurity. They are now already, infringing on human rights, on the citizens, and I feel that this is punishable under the law, if you ask me. And the problem I feel with our legal system today, I just feel that the problem is so enormous, because I just feel that there are a lot of things that we do all in the name of our rights, all in the name of we are power drunk. I don't know why they feel that they have the power to enforce such right or decision or action on somebody who was actually on the bike, just heading to commuting from one place to the other. And you can just imagine, and I just feel that sometimes it's the fact that we have people who are not exposed. We have people who are not learned enough to understand different what's it called? I don't want to say hairdo because it's not really tailored to this hairdo alone. It cuts across all sectors, exactly. And abusing other people's rights because of lawlessness is one of the reasons why we are where we are today. And this is where human rights activists, I feel that should come in right away, and the state judicial system should also kick against such nonsense. I understand that I've seen a lot of what's it called, messages from the Benue State's government saying that they've looked into it, they've picked up these security people because they've been able to identify some of them in the video. But the question is, why do we wait till last minute? That's some of the challenges that I think that we are facing today. Why do we wait till last minute before we start saying that we are doing something that we are, why can't we just put law in place? Quickly, what's your take, sir?
I think I agree with everything you've said. It's not right. I don't think it's not good. I think it's barbaric, like you said. Everything has to be done in order to curb future occurrence of this. And like I said, when you are talking of law, I don't believe there is law in this society that we are. Everybody does what they like at any time. Even people that are upholding the law, they don't even know. They break the law and they go scot-free. All right,
so, many thanks for that. Dami, I'll come to you on the second story. The second trending story that caught our attention is that of the NDLEA that wants drug tests for all our politicians. I know that this is something that we've spoken about before on this platform. Dami, quickly, what's your take on this?
Well, it's I think it's a good one if they will agree to take the test, because a lot of people, we cannot mention this, but we know that some people will fail the test if they take that test. So will they agree to take the test?
People like
me, you want to push me? No, I'm just saying basically that we know some of us are close to each other. It's just like maybe some of our asking our musicians to come and take drug tests.
Okay.
Some of you know.
No, Kike is not close to anybody that takes drugs. Don't say some of us are close to.
Some of
you
us.
No, some of you. No, I and Kike, leave us out of it. We are not close to any.
Even the viewers, you have some family members.
In fact, Buba Mara should come and meet you so that you take them to the people you're close to. You say some of us are close to. We're not. Kike, are you close to anybody taking drugs?
That is taking drugs. You know some of them as friends. You have tried to encourage them to come out of it.
If they actually go through the test, the system will not be corrupt.
Will they even go through it? That's why I'm saying that we did go through it in the first place. So is it speculation or is it thought? Well, it's good. Our athletes take drug tests. You enforce them to do it. So it's just like saying, okay, athletes should come and take drug tests. We know the probability of the outcome.
Marshall, let me first of all clarify that I don't know anybody that takes drugs. First off, let me start from there. And Nigerians lie in the hands of rulers and leaders that are ruling the future of over 200 million people. And I ask myself, why can't they afford to go through the test? Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel that there are a lot of leaders who are drug addicts. I stand to be corrected, and I'm saying this based on some of the things I have read, not that I know any. However, one of the negative effects of our drugs consumption is I think the blatant lawlessness again, that's would I say the outward disrespect of the rulers of law that we see in some of the politicians today. Marshall, there are a lot of people that we have seen who are in the public space, who are on drugs, who I feel that they have no respect for the fact that they are answerable to us, because we are the ones that actually put them there. The Nigerians, the millions of Nigerians are the ones that put them in that corridor of power. But when they get there, it seems as if the intoxication of power is being
just evolving around them.
Exactly. So I just feel that it's a constitutional matter, however you look at it. And reason being that I like when there was something you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to quickly correct that, because I know section 107 says that our drug consumption is enough ground to disqualify a person. And I feel that whichever office that you're vying for, the other side, it's important for us to actually put this into law. And I also like the fact that even the federal government today are actually thinking of that. Again, I just feel that however you look at it, how will you say that you want to run for the office of the office of Nigeria? Let me put it like that. And you cannot have a sound mind. You cannot have mental and psychological mind for us to know that you are okay in that space. However, I want to also use this opportunity because since we've even started Real Talk with Kike in the last 2.5 years, I feel that the number of stories that we've seen on drugs, or especially NDA, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the retired Colonel Buba Marwa. I feel that he's such an outstanding public officer and a dedicated administrator since he has assumed office, I think 15th of January 2021. I also feel that we have hardly seen his type, and the reason why I'm saying that is because it reminds me of Dora Akluyi. You know, I feel that if we can find such a man in NAFDAC today, and if you have these kinds of people in the corridor of power, in the ends of affairs, we will see transformation in our system. But because we have a lot of, so to speak, in quote, leaders who feel entitled, that they see Nigeria as a company, hence the reason why we are facing some of the challenges we are facing today. Marsha, when will all of this going to end? Do they even need to tell us that if they put a law, a constitutional law for us to take a drug test, we should voluntarily leave ourselves to say, okay, I'm clean. And not just that, sometimes, you know, you mentioned something, I don't know whether it's you or Dami that says that if they can boycott it or whatever, in terms of, you understand? Because at the end of the day, the question is, what's the quantity of that drug in your system? Until we start putting some constitutional laws in place. I think that
with strict penalties.
Yes, I just feel that we will just keep merry-go-rounding on all of this.
So to put it straight, the Real Talk with Kike show supports totally the call by the NDLEA boss to have our politicians, especially those gunning for elective positions, to come out and have drug tests. RTWK show supports it squarely, and we hope that it will be put into law.
Yeah, because we've seen how they've actually devoid the corridor of presidents. Everybody wants to become president, just for you people all that to gather that, because I believe I have goodwill, so that we can go and buy the 100 million naira for.
We'll buy for you now. She knows our secret. She knows we're planning to buy for her.
100 million has suddenly become cheap, and like how many people have purchased already?
All right, guys, we've come to the end of another interesting episode, and at least I will rest in the hands of Moses without him telling me it's time now to go. Indeed, we had an awesome show with Imam, with our resourceful guest Imam Olabode. Many thanks for being in the studio with us, and again, may God continue to be with you and empower you and your family, and of course your school as well. Till we come your way next week, my name is Kike of Atanda-Owo. You are
Damla Labanire.
Marshall Anthony Ononye.
Atufik Biragasi.
Many thanks.